Hello, everyone. I'm Hamilton Bridges. I worked on the business intelligence team this summer under Grant Gibb.
Hi, everyone. My name is Swesha Arora. I worked with Dan Garn on the implementation team. And this summer, me and Hamilton focused our project on reporting, slotting, and pick data visibility.
So our overall goal was to provide different teams at ODW with some different tools to make data-driven decisions that actually lead to warehouse improvements and performance. So our three approaches was that I created a predictive reporting application. Swesha and I together created a refreshable slotting file. And then Swesha actually went ahead and made improvements to Premier Nutrition's pickbooks. So from my perspective, let's discuss some of the issues with reporting at ODW. So currently, the business intelligence team has around 2 weeks to deliver reports before those reporting needs need to be delivered before startup. And then general managers are currently requesting these different reports based on experiences that they've had in the warehouses. So they request the reports that they found to be useful, but not necessarily requesting reports that are shown to be useful by data. Some other problems that exist is that I'm sure you all know, there's lots of refreshable files that are just out in the shared drive that aren't necessarily tracked. And another problem is that there's lots of reports in the ODW portal that contain duplicate information that have required lots of effort spent on creating duplicate reports. If we look at the bottom of the slide here, I've shown reporting requests. So this is requests to either create a new report or enhance an existing report for both ServiceNow and Jira. And in both cases, we can see that these reporting requests are increasing over time, and this is leading to time being taken up from the business intelligence team as well as their resources. So I went ahead and did a further analysis. So I dove into these reporting requests from ServiceNow and Jira, and I saw which specific reports were being requested. And then I also saw how frequently our current reports are being used within the ODW portal. Another approach that I took was to collect account profile data from the different general managers. I'm sure Brian Dries knows what I'm talking about. I sent out lots of emails over the summer to the different general managers. I collected this through job form. So I collected information such as an account's picking methods, how they do their transportation, and how they actually deliver their product to the customer, and lots of related fields like that. This was important because this general account data isn't actually being stored anywhere in ODW. And there's actually an opportunity to be able to use it. So like I just said, we can use some of this data that I've collected on the reporting requests and general account profiles to actually reduce these report requests. We can eliminate these duplicated reports, and we can also speed up the time it takes the business intelligence team to deliver these reporting needs. So what did I actually create? Like I said earlier, I created a predictive reporting application. Some of the key features is that it allows you to import data for an account and all the different reports at ODW. And then it also provides the reports with tags that will essentially show what are the contents within the report. And the main feature is that my application will actually recommend a list of reports for a new client. So all you have to do is just enter data for a new client, similar to those account profiles that I was discussing, that data that I collected from the general managers. And then it will just respond with a list of reports that new client should be using. Another thing is that each report that's recommended comes with a score, which shows how likely it is to be used by the new client. So this is actually a picture of the deliverable that I've designed. So this is the kind of the menu where you would actually input the data about the new client. So for example, you would put in their customer solution type, which is essentially how they're going to deliver their products, the picking methods, transportation configuration, and then some different fields at the bottom, kind of show different characteristics. And then you would just go ahead and click this button, generate recommendations there. And then this will be the resulting screen. So it will show a list of all of these reports that the account will likely use. And like I said, it contains those identifying tags and the suggestion scores, like I mentioned. What's this impact? We can actually provide a repeatable process for the business intelligence team to go ahead and generate these report recommendations before startup occurs. So they'll have a little bit more flexibility. They can be prepared before the general managers request these reports. Another impact is that we'll speed up how long it takes the business intelligence team to deliver these reports. So there's a little bit quicker turnaround for new clients. We can also identify which reports already exist from this tool. So there's a higher level of data visibility. And lastly, since we can identify which reports already exist, it's more likely that the business intelligence team won't be generating reports that contain duplicate information. And some general use cases is that with some refinement to this tool, the sales team can potentially highlight ODW's reporting capabilities to new clients. And with widespread access to this tool, just all of the employees within ODW will have a higher understanding of all of the active accounts within ODW and how those accounts are operating with us. I've provided access to this tool by uploading all my files to the company repository, as well as providing a guide for how to launch my tool. And my tool is currently in the final stages of becoming accessible within ODW's infrastructure through a site. So it's in the final stages there. Some future consideration is to integrate my tool within ODW portal. This would provide permission-based access, and then to automatically import new reports that are created and tracked through Jotform and Jira. And then lastly, we could use essentially artificial intelligence to automatically produce those identifying tags for a report to display what's within the report.
In addition to Hamilton's reporting tool, we also created a refreshable slotting tool to help with that challenge.
So our goal was to maximize the different slotting decisions that are made within warehouses at ODW, and we wanted to do this by providing live warehouse data. And we're going to provide information such as the slot, the item, and the velocity, and different things like that related to each location within the warehouse. So what did we actually create? We created the slotting refreshable file that will essentially give a view of the warehouse. And some key features is that our tool is compatible with all symmetry accounts because those data connections are persistent, and all you have to do is go in and change the store number. And the way we've documented our tool, if you just change the data connections, it can be quickly adapted for all Corber accounts. Another feature is that after a single time setup, the tool doesn't have to be adjusted at all, so it's highly user-friendly. Another feature for our tool is that the view we've created closely resembles the actual warehouse in Lockborn 3, so it's highly digestible and intuitive for a user. Lastly, a final feature is that our tool provides visual indicators of problems that's currently going on within a pick front, and those correspond to actionable items that we've documented, which can lead to actual improvements from a different inventory or engineer teams.
So here's a snapshot of what the dashboard page looks like when you open up the sheet. So this is an example of aisle 69 with odds on one side and even slots on the other. This is a pick front aisle. So I'm just going to walk through some of the visual signifiers that you can get from using our tool, and then some recommended actions that you can go based on that. So in the top right, you'll see a SKU with 0 velocity right there highlighted in green. So the inventory team can actually change the date range within the tool to 30, 60, 90 days, take a look at the velocity and decide if they want to unslot that SKU. And then below that, we can see highlighted in blue is 261 misplaced cases. So the inventory team can do a spot check of just that location, and if they find those cases, they can initiate a floor move, and that change will be reflected on the dashboard as well. Otherwise, if they don't find them, they can do a full cycle count of all of the pick fronts. And then right beside that, you'll see highlighted in purple, insufficient stock highlighted. So there's 1.68 days, and that's below the 3-day goal, so that's why it's alerted. And the operations team can look at all the pick fronts for that SKU and then decide if they want to add another pick front or what they want to do going forward. And then you can see some of the available locations on the sheet as well. And then right above that, you'll see an area of congestion highlighted. So we have that color coding. The red velocity indicates higher congestion, and then green is the lower velocity. So operations can decide if they want to move one of those SKUs to clear up some space. So as I said, those are just some of the use cases, but we do have a guide outlined in the document. Here's a snapshot of the uses. And in addition to that, we also trained engineering, inventory, and ops so we can make sure that they know how to use the tool for day-to-day operations. So then moving on to some of the improvements that I did specifically for Premier Nutrition. My goal was to leverage the tool that we made. So we use some of those data insights as well as feedback that I got directly from operations and inventory to tackle some of those challenges. Here's another snapshot of aisle 70. So in this specific case, we saw 58 misplaced cases. So inventory was able to find those with a spot check. So we just moved them out of that location for move. And then above that, you will see 0.75 days of stock there. So inventory just added another pick front by looking at the other data for that SKU in particular. And here's some of the feedback that I got directly from ops and inventory. They said one of their main challenges was balancing velocity and pick front size. So that's something the tool can directly help with by those purple highlighted days. So they can just keep up with that on a regular basis. And another thing they mentioned was Premier has a lot of expiration requirements for their orders. So they'll end up with a lot of different lots in one location. And here's some photos of the different separation strategies they have right now. So it's kind of inconsistent on a case-by-case basis. And then another thing was just overall inventory accuracy they wanted to improve. Here's some of the things that I had implemented and have been going for a couple weeks now, and I've gotten some great feedback, so I'm happy about that. But the first thing was to train management on how to use the refreshable in their day-to-day operations. So inventory and ops knows their suggested responsibilities and how to keep up with it regularly. And then up top, you'll see a new labeling standard for the double-wide locations. This just makes it easier for pickers to scan the correct location, and there's a magnet covering up the inactive location. And then also for lot division, previously what they had was during cycle counts, they would handwrite item codes and lot codes on a yellow sheet, and then every time during cycle count or picking, they would have to manually type that in. But now they just initiate a print for a barcode. So then going forward, it saves some time for the case picker and cycle counter to just easily scan that and reduce errors. This is something we're super happy to share. So we were able to see another account already use our refreshable. So Lotus, the operations team identified some slotting inefficiencies with their current configuration. So the engineering team proposed some slotting improvements, and they're actually going to move forward with that, and it's projected to have a 30% decrease in case pick labor hours. So that's just an example of how it's accessible in the shared drive, and any Synergy account can use it.
So overall, some of the takeaways from our three approaches is that for my piece, we can allow for business intelligence and other groups to generate these report recommendations before startup occurs. From Swesha and I's perspective, we've allowed different teams to make data-driven decisions when working with slotting. And from Swesha's perspective, she was actually able to use the tool that we created to create improvements within the actual operation. We just want to take this chance to thank you all for giving us this wonderful opportunity to work at ODW and intern this summer. I've learned more than I thought and achieved more than I thought at the start of this summer, so I'm just really thankful to just be working at ODW. Thank you.
Really agreed. It's been a great experience, and you guys have really invested in our learning. So with that, do you guys have any questions for our presentation?
All kinds. Yeah, great. All good.
Who's got the first question? Go ahead.
So on the predictive reporting app, you had mentioned that you had taken a look at the poll through the GMs. Are you looking at portal reports, refreshable reports, and call it click reports that we have out now, and recommending all three types, or is it siloed to just portal reporting at this time?
So the reporting application is only going to be as good as the data that's supplied within the tool. It's compatible to track refreshables. We are highlighting specifically adjunct reports within the portal because the core reports are given for all accounts. And then it can also track click reports.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
Is there, so we're 90% there,
Yeah.
right, with that. So are we adopting that, right?
So have you handed that off to Grant? Is that who's taking it from here?
Yeah,
Okay.
so he has access to run my project. He has all of the files needed. He has access. Currently, it's being run on the engineering server. I was working with people on the business intelligence, specifically Mike Fisher. We were trying to get a site set up at ODW. You use IIS. It's essentially how sites are set up internally within ODW's infrastructure. That's nearly complete. It should be done relatively soon and available for everyone.
Good. Go ahead.
Just quick, you mentioned earlier that you're also looking at number of reports requested versus how often they're used. Do you see a huge amount of reports which are just used once or twice? Or is every report spot on, leveraged, and reused every week?
No, that's an incredible question. When I looked at the ODW portal, I did notice there were lots of reports that were maybe used one time or not even used. So this also contributes to wasted resources within business intelligence. You're totally correct. There are lots of reports that are just used once or twice, unfortunately. So not all reports are going to be stellar, that downloaded like thousands of times. You're totally correct in the fact that there are reports that exist like that.
This might be a loaded question. What is our pick front process today?
Could you repeat that? I misheard you.
It's probably directed at the individuals in the room. I'd say this is a loaded question, but what's our pick front process today?
When you say process, you mean set up.
Slaughter, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so depends on, you're talking about new implementations, that's the IE team that sets that up, so this will be huge for that. The day-to-day business.
This is probably the biggest challenge right now. Everything doesn't happen, so if it's automated with a tool like that,
What is done today?
sporadically the inventory leadership will take a look at what kind of state, or we will run into issues daily.
Velocity reports on the portal. So you have to put together multiple reports to get the same answer that they're able to do in one.
Just because I know we're out of time. The sign of a good internship presentation is when you get the audience all like rumbling up like we all are. So you guys did a great job. Our team, we got to figure out this on an enterprise-wide solution. I've been screaming about slotting. I love that you are all leaning in. Two interns who did a great job of bringing out why it's really important to us. So I'd love to know who's going to take the action. Gary on your team or Michael your team.
On my right now to take it.
Well done, guys.
Very good.
Hey, Cassie, it's worth mentioning, this is the second run that we've taken at
Mike, you had a question?
yeah. Cassie, this is the second time our interns in Ontario did a slotting tool. They created a slotting tool last year too. So somehow we have to bring both of those things together, I think, if you remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary.
Got it.
Got it.
Great job, guys.
Yeah.
So many questions.
We don't.
It's great.